ask yourself a damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on 105.5, the team in Rochester. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by Teddy Bear 2 himself, Nick Steblenko.
Donald, I am getting so excited. The season's only a week away.
I'm waiting.
Waiting for what? The NFL to start? I am too.
No, you know what I'm waiting for. It happens to be the master of all puns, Jason Gringer's here.
I did not bring any puns with me again today.
Did you, in the time between yesterday and today, did you look up what a pun was?
No.
Okay, I was just checking because we did find out on a show about a week ago that you just didn't know what a pun was.
I'm still clueless. I'm waiting for Nick to really teach me his game. He's got a nice craft.
It's okay. I mean, you know, I'm seriously just looking forward to next week. This is going to be amazing. It's so great.
Is there a guy on this team named Week on Tampa Bay that I'm just confused about?
Nope. I am just psyched.
Is there a guy named Sykes on this team?
Nope.
Okay, I'm lost. I really thought he was going to come out swinging with these puns. He's going to say the buck stops here and all this other crazy stuff, but he didn't do it.
John, what can I say? I'm very happy to be talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today.
You don't have a McFrown on your face?
Nope, I don't have a McFrown. There's no McFrown.
I don't think that's not
nope, that's not
that's
a pun
not
either.
a pun.
That's not a pun
That's
either.
just changing the wording around so it sounds funny.
Okay. I'm slowly learning.
Yeah, you're going to learn by the end of the Star Fantasy League show when we're done breaking down all 32 teams. Maybe then you'll know what a pun is.
Perhaps.
Maybe by the Niners.
No.
I'll have it right? No.
No, he'll be like, he's Kaepernicking around. That doesn't even make sense.
No, that doesn't work either.
Nope.
Okay.
You got to keep up with the action there, Jackson.
There we go. There's the one and only pun of the day, which means today on the Star Fantasy League show, we are talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team that I am very, very optimistic about.
You know, some might say that I have a few cousins on the team, but I don't.
That didn't make sense, really.
There's a guy named Cousins. That one's an easy one.
But
I was assuming we were talking about Kirk, but
not
your
Kirk.
boy Kirk Cousins.
Nope.
All right, but we do. Speaking of quarterbacks who are not currently starting but might, there are a lot of negative things in football to talk about right now, and it's really depressing because we love to talk about the news, about roster shifts and all this stuff, but all the news out of camp today is just really negative.
I thought that would make you happy, John.
No, I don't like talking about negative things. I'm just a negative person. That doesn't mean I like negativity.
Okay. All right.
I just happen to be negative.
Well, what negativity do you have for us today?
All right, the first one is DJ Hayden for the Oakland Raiders on the pup list. Okay, this is a guy that was highly touted coming out of college, out of Houston, the college, not the pro team. Picked 12th overall in the first round. Supposed to be the cornerback of the future for this team. Played 8 games last year, had a heart condition.
Okay,
basically shut him down.
Here's the thing. He had that heart condition coming out of college.
Yes.
And the Oakland Raiders, once again, just put all their eggs in the wrong basket. It's just unbelievable.
They must be really bad at Easter time.
They are terrible at Easter.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
They show up and they have a bunch of pine cones. They're like, we won Easter. It's like, those are pine cones.
They show up and their eggs are black and they think, oh yeah, we painted our eggs black just like the Oakland Raiders. No, those are dead eggs. You have dead eggs. That's what's going on in their draft.
Dead eggs. I thought you were going to say bad eggs because the Oakland
eggs, right?
Yeah, the Oakland Raiders roster is filled with bad eggs. Let's be completely honest.
My heart goes out to this kid because he really was a great talent coming out of college. But the fact was that this is you don't just invest a first-round pick on a guy based on his talent when you know that he has tissue paper for a heart.
Well, that's not even what the issue was this season. It's like an ankle and a knee issue.
Yeah, now
that's had him out. So maybe it's not the heart, but let's be honest. When there is a heart issue, that's something you don't really fix.
Yeah.
Although in the NBA, we've seen cases in the NBA of this. Like Jeff Green had heart surgery, was fine.
They put like a little flap there or something.
We're not doctors. We don't claim to be doctors. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I'll cut you open if you need me to.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for that medical help, Nick. Great. All right, so we're talking about the Oakland Raiders. I've been reading reports out of camp, and it's not hard to see that Matt Schaub has been awful. He has what, quote-unquote, a sore elbow for a quarterback, if the word sore and elbow go together, that means you can't throw the ball anymore. It's a problem.
I mean, I was kind of really had my fingers crossed for Matt Schaub because I had this feeling that last season just should have been an anomaly, but this is not positive. It's pretty much been all negative news coming out of camp. And he has a lot of tools at his fingertips. He has a lot of receivers. He has 2 running backs who, as long as they're healthy, they're capable. This is just bad. I think you're going to see Derek Carr pretty darn soon.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, we talk a lot about completion percentage. I know it's not the end-all, be-all for stats, but in the preseason, again, take it with a grain of salt, 51% completion percentage, interception in the preseason. He just hasn't looked good at all. And Derek Carr's actually looked pretty okay.
I'm more interested in completion percentage in the preseason just because a lot of the times you don't see quarterbacks taking those deep shots down the field in preseason. You don't see guys streaking down the field. You know, they're trying to conserve energy. They're trying to conserve their health. So they usually go with some shorter passes, and you just like to see a guy get into a rhythm. If he's really only throwing 50%, that's really not a good sign at all. He should be able to get into a rhythm in every game.
I think I know what's wrong with the Raiders.
Yeah?
Is they play in a baseball stadium.
Yeah? That's it?
They're the last team in the NFL to play
they are.
dual stadium.
You know for a fact they're going to move into the new Levi Stadium, right? They're going to find a way to get there.
Well, they've already destroyed my A's field. They better not destroy my Niners field.
Well, hey, you know what? You can blame it. You can blame the A's decline on the Raiders being in Oakland Coliseum.
They built Mount Davis. They moved the Raiders in there, and the whole place just went to Trashville.
Yep, it's all gone to hell.
Just the black hole.
There you go. There's a black hole.
Yeah.
They caused it. All right. So we got to move on from this. We've spent way too long talking about a team that I'm going to assume is going to be a bottom 3 team in the NFL this year, right?
Could be.
Oakland Raiders.
Could be, and then they're going to botch their number 1 pick again.
No, Al Davis is not alive anymore.
No, don't worry. They'll still botch it.
That is true. He wasn't alive for that.
The ghost of Al.
Yeah, I think he is making these picks.
He wasn't around for DJ Hayden in 2013. He wasn't around for what's his name, the basketball offensive lineman boy there. I don't even know his name. Malik Watson or something. Malik Watson or something.
Yeah, let's not even talk. We're spending too much time talking about the team.
I would usually apologize for not knowing somebody's name, but I'm not apologizing for somebody that doesn't matter.
Ooh, shots fired by Nick Steblenko today.
Take it.
Zing.
All right,
Take it.
The last thing I want to talk about before we get into some interesting Bucs news is Brandon Merriweather suspended for 2 games for a hit on, I believe it was Torrey Smith in the preseason game over the weekend.
Not cool, man.
Although, let's be honest, the hit wasn't as awful as it could have been. It's the fact that this guy's been fined 5 times in the past, over a couple $100,000 for hits like this in the past. He was falling down. He kind of put his head down. It wasn't really all that bad, but the fallout from his teammates is going to get the NFL in some hot water, I feel.
Yeah?
Because there have been some Twitter comments about him getting 2 games, which is the equivalency of hitting your wife.
Yep. Well, I mean, this is to be expected. I'm sorry, but Roger Goodell screwed this one up.
He did major because if you're going to smoke pot and get 2 games, like I'm assuming Blount and Le'Veon Bell are probably going to get 2 to 4, and if they do, and you let a guy off the hook in Ray Rice, you're going to have a kind of a mini rebellion by players.
No, but Ray, he showed that he really wants to become.
He didn't mean.
He's learning from
he
this.
Didn't mean. He
didn't mean to whack her right in the face and knock her out cold. You know, it's just an accident.
It's an accident that he caught it on camera.
Yeah, just like Le'Veon Bell and LeGarrette Blount. They didn't mean to carry 20 grams of weed in their car.
No, they meant to get
happened.
More.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous. But unfortunately, you can't judge what happened right now based on what happened from Ray Rice. If you do that, now we're getting into a different situation. We're getting into, then we should reduce penalties instead of increasing penalties for domestic abuse.
That's exactly what it should be. They should be reactionary on things of that nature in Ray Rice's case. It should be, okay, you did this, you got caught, you got arrested, you should be punished to the extent of the law. Like,
at the same time, there's also a CBA in place that allowed the Ray Rice situation to happen the way that it did.
I'm more upset with just the NFL overall and flagging all these hits, which aren't bad hits, and it's been happening for the past couple of years, and it's turning into a flag football league now.
Well, that's what happens when everybody sues everyone else, is that now you have to start protecting yourself against that kind of crap.
It's
crap.
Yeah.
It's just crap. And it's ruining the game.
It is.
Not only is it crap, and not only is it ruining the game, but it leads into our next conversation because Richie Incognito has been cleared by the NFL to return to play and will probably be signed in the next week.
Why? I don't understand this. I don't understand why this is acceptable in the NFL, but it's not acceptable in any other workplace at all.
Hold on, Nick. He didn't beat his wife.
No,
you're
right.
That's why he was reinstated.
You're right. He just used racist slurs against a teammate. That's just not bad at all.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, they allow the hazing thing. They still allow it to go on, but I mean, it's ridiculous. The whole idea of like making the rookies go out and pay for the veterans dinner when it's like a $50,000 bill. What if these players don't make the team? I hate that. I hate that kind of stuff. It's just as bad as what Incognito did.
I'm not necessarily against that because I do think that it builds a bit of respect. It builds a bit of camaraderie. It builds a team atmosphere. But there are certain things that you can do and there are certain things that you can't do. And it's tough to really declare what those things are because I think they're very situational and it depends on each individual. But it's very, very, very clear that Richie Incognito is messed in the head. The guy does not belong on a football field. It's really just an outlet for his anger, and you can tell that he has deep-rooted anger issues.
Yeah, why would you even want this guy on your team? I mean, he came in, he interviewed with the Bucs. Yesterday or today?
Yesterday. That's the funny part about all this is because we are talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but on today's show,
they did make a trade today. Did
they?
You see that?
No, I didn't see that.
They traded for Logan Mankins.
Ooh.
From the Patriots. They traded Tim Wright and a 4th-round pick.
Wow,
which is a huge, pickup for them on their offensive line. I think for the Bucs.
That is a big pickup for the Bucs.
And also, it paves the way for someone we're probably going to be talking a lot about today in Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
Yes,
because Tim Wright he looked pretty good last year. I will admit I did have him on one of my fantasy teams. Didn't do all that great, but had a couple interesting games. I believe he was a rookie, wasn't he, last year?
Yeah, I think so.
So they out with one rookie, in with a new rookie. See what he can do there. But yeah, I mean, I saw some quotes from Lovie Smith saying his prior action shouldn't be a death sentence in the public eye. So,
Incognito?
Huh?
Incognito?
Yeah, on Incognito, meaning he should get another chance despite the fact that we have all of this information about him being a racist, a bully. Sometimes they're like, oh, he isn't in jail. He shouldn't be punished like that. Well, guess what? He should.
Yeah, I mean, look at what he did to his car. He's just messed up in the head, as Nick said. Why do you want this guy around your team? He's a cancer.
I wish I could come up with a similar organization, but there really is nothing like the major pro sports. You just can't do something like this in your workplace and then, oh yeah, hey, I was convicted of a felony or something like that, and then you're not going to get hired by anybody else.
It's like doing this at Google and then going to Apple and going, I was fired from there, but it's the same kind of company. Let me just work here.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's all good, right? No, it's not all good.
I agree. Coming up after the break, we're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, hopefully without Richie Incognito. We'll break them down after the break, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
The Star Fantasy League show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
I feel like it's a little strange that we're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today, and news is just breaking all over about them. They just completed a trade with the New England Patriots to bring in guard Logan Mankins, a former All-Pro and Pro Bowl guy. Mm-hmm. That's I'm not gonna lie. I was planning on talking about in this segment how bad their line is, but it's a nice little upgrade.
Yeah, that definitely is a nice upgrade, and I mean for a team that finished 32nd overall in offense last season, this has got to be a big boost. So, I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of questions on this offense still, but that's good. That's really good.
And people are questioning why they took Sims with a 3rd-round pick and not an offensive lineman. So they had to do something, I think. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, and they gave up Tim Wright, who was a rookie tight end last year. He looked pretty okay. He looked like a rookie tight end coming on. See what he's doing, but I feel like that's a lot of value right there from a tight end who technically right now is listed 3rd on the depth chart.
Well, they signed Brandon Myers in the offseason. I know he's nothing special, but he still will be able to carry his own weight a little bit. And then they have Austin Seferian-Jenkins, who should be the featured tight end in this offense. So getting rid of Tim Wright is not a big deal, and it helps them with their interior line support.
Yeah, and the Patriots had a ton of depth, I think, on their offensive line. So you could see that It's probably a little salary dump.
If they stay healthy, poor Nate Solder last season. Yeah. One of the worst injuries I've seen in a while.
It's a nice move for the Bucks.
Yes, it is. So we're going to talk about the Bucks today. Let's talk about what they did last season very quickly. They started out 0-8. They were an atrocious football team. The whole Schiano-Freeman marriage ended very quickly in divorce.
Well, it was volatile, too. I mean, it was just really nasty. And, I liked Josh Freeman when he came into the league. I thought
he's a bomber.
He had a great first season. He had his sophomore slump. And then, Schiano comes along, and it just never fit. And then, once that happens, now everybody's like, oh, well, where's Freeman now? Well, he never had a good situation to begin with. He never really had a great opportunity to succeed. Yeah. So now we get a restart with Lovie Smith.
Yeah, we get a big restart with Lovie Smith. I always like to talk about in key additions if it is a coaching change, especially when it goes from just a really bad culture in Tampa Bay under Greg Schiano. They went from Raheem Morris, who was 34 or something, a really young guy, goes in there to coach. Then you go to Schiano. Now they actually have a veteran who is known for winning. He on his Bears teams, did any of them not go to the playoffs? I'm pretty sure they had a long string of playoffs.
No, they had their ups and downs here and there, but he got to the Super Bowl. That's huge. That's something they had to address.
With Rex Grossman.
That's very, very true. Yeah. Very true. Yeah. He has worked with Josh McCown, but more towards the end of his tenure in Chicago. So I have to feel that that's why he brought him in, said, hey, I need a guy that I can work with. Maybe they groom Mike Glennon behind him and just say, hey, this is the kind of system so that you can see how it works from the get-go.
Yeah, Glennon didn't really have a chance last season. He was sacked. Well, he wasn't sacked 47, but the quarterbacks were sacked 47 total times behind that makeshift line. Doug Martin didn't play most of the season, so can we really blame Glennon for having a subpar out? I mean, you just can't do that.
Well, how could you blame him anyways, regardless of the situation? Because this is his first real opportunity at any actual NFL starting position. So, I mean, I don't know. Overall, I feel like he does have a shot down the line, but I think this could be the right move for Lovie Smith in the first year in Tampa Bay. Yeah. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah, I said yesterday I really like the signing of McCown. I think the Bucs are going to be pretty good this year. I mean, they're going to be a lot better than last year, I think. And, I'm thinking like 8 wins, possibly get over the 500 mark.
Yeah, Vegas has them over-under at 7. I actually like the over in that. I think 8 or 9 wins is possible, only because they were so bad last season. They're going up against the AFC North, NFC North combination, and they're out of division games. The extra games are St. Louis and Washington. St. Louis is an almost guaranteed win because no quarterback there. And Washington, again, maybe no quarterback there. I'm not sure. I like the schedule.
I'm going to take the complete opposite side on this one. I don't think they get over 8 wins. Really? I don't even think they get over 7 wins. I think that Josh McCown, his numbers are extremely inflated because of last season, thanks to Mark Trestman and his system and all of the tools that he had at his fingertips. McCown's regular numbers, his average is 144 yards per game, 77.5 passer rating, 50 touchdowns, 45 interceptions, and probably about 15 of them came from last season.
I mean, he's got 2 big boy targets there. 3, actually, if you have Safari and Jenkins in there. They drafted Mike Evans, and they have Jackson, which they're both, 6'5", I think.
They are actually all 3 of them are 6'5".
Yeah.
Yep. So how are you going to cut? Like, you put your number one corner on one of these guys. Who else is guarding Mike Evans?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that it matters about that. I mean, you can look at those measurements and say, yeah, these guys are big boys. They can get down the field. But if you don't have a quarterback that can really huck the ball down the field to these guys, it's not going to matter anything. And the system needs to flow. It needs to work. Lovie Smith is a defensive coach. And, yes, he got to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman at the helm, but Rex Grossman stunk. He wasn't good. The defense carried them the entire way. So if this team's going to win, I think it's going to be on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, let's get into that. That's my biggest offseason question for these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can Josh McCown succeed in Tampa Bay without the same weapons he had in Chicago? We talk about the big weapons. Jackson, you got Mike Evans drafted from A&M. He caught every ball ever from Johnny Manziel, and Safari and Jenkins, but they're not Alshon Jeffrey. They're not Brandon Marshall. They're not Matt Forte, Martellus Bennett. Those are proven guys. Jackson's obviously proven, but outside of that, they're just rookies.
So define success for McCown. What would be a successful season for him this year? Because we know we're not going to see 300 yards a game. 250 is a stretch, in my opinion.
Okay, going from they were 32nd in the league in passing last season. If you can bring them up to middle of the road, maybe a 15th passing offense, 15th quarterback, I think that's a big win for this team.
I would completely agree with you. If they get to the 15th passing offense overall, that is a huge success and a huge step in the right direction.
They've got a new offensive coordinator, right? So it depends on the system they're going to be running. Depends if Doug Martin's healthy or if he's going to be running a lot.
Looks like he is too.
I mean, they've got 3 decent running back options as well on that team.
Yeah.
So
well, with the ones that are injured, no. Nah. I mean, Sims is injured. Who else got injured in the beginning?
Rainey.
I'll say it's either Rainey or James.
No, both of them are healthy. They had another injury, and it was somebody that was vying for a spot. But either way, no, I agree. I know they have tons of options. I'm just curious to see what kind of a system they're going to run offensively.
Same here,
yeah, but Lovie Smith's coming in, so he's clearly going to make an impact on the defense. But that's the other offseason question. How much of an impact will Lovie Smith have on the Bucs? Because I like to say, when you go from such a mess of a coach to somebody who is competent and somebody's done it before, that has to be worth at least 2 wins, right? At least.
Yeah, and you look at him on the sidelines, he's more of a calm, cool, collected guy.
Instead of a nut job like Schiano and Jim Schwartz, who are no longer coaching.
And he's been there. He's not going to cost you games like as far as using challenges or making stupid calls on offense or whatever. So he should be worth at least 1 or 2 wins, I would say, as an upgrade.
Yeah, and they also added quite a few pieces to this defense. They get Alteron Werner, who is a guy that's really underrated, kind of flies in under the radar. He kind of replaces Darrell Revis, and I know Darrell Revis.
Man. He didn't get when Darrell Revis is on a team that kind of seems like it's fading. He looks like he does not give a crap, does not want to be on the field. But like they said in New England, he's looked really good this preseason because guess what?
Well,
he has a chance to win.
Yeah, he knows he has a chance to win.
I hate players like that.
Alteron Werner's really good. Yep. Mark Barron and Deshaun Goldson in the safety spots are excellent. Their defensive line with Claiborne and McCoy, fantastic. I really like the pieces that they have, and Lovie Smith is known for doing the best with what little he has to work with.
Yeah, and you look at Goldson, he had a really off year last year. He signed a big contract last year, but he had a lot of injury problems. I think he's going to have a nice bounce-back year. I liked him on the Niners. We'll see what happens.
Well, don't forget they also added Michael Johnson from Cincinnati.
That is true.
It's a big piece. He had, I believe, 11.5 sacks 2 seasons ago. Dropped down a little bit last year, but that whole team was really good last year.
That whole team was very good. Yeah.
Top. Anytime you get a big piece of a top 5 defense, I don't care what it is, and he fits into your system, you have to do it.
Their defensive line could be one of the better lines in football.
Yeah, they were right in the middle last year, and I feel like if their offense comes up from 32nd to maybe somewhere in the middle, and this becomes a top 10 defense, I think this team could win 8 games.
Yeah, that's the same thing I think. I think 8 or 9 wins.
And they have an easiest. I keep saying it. They have not the easiest, but they have an easier than usual schedule.
Yeah, than who we talked about yesterday, which is one of the rougher.
Yeah, and I think the Panthers I think they're going to regress. I think Atlanta could go either way. I mean, I could see Tampa Bay splitting with Atlanta. I could see them beating Carolina.
I mean, they're not going to win the division, obviously, but they should have a chance to fight for a wild card spot, I would think.
Well, they have a pretty tough closing schedule.
Yeah, their close is not fun.
Their last 2 games are Green Bay and New Orleans. Before that, in weeks 12 and 13, they get Chicago and Cincinnati. That's not a very easy way to end the schedule. Those last 6 games, I could easily see them going 1-5, 2-4. Yeah. So that's going to be tough.
All right. So we talked about the Tampa Bay Bucs from an actual standpoint, but what about a fantasy standpoint? Because I'm actually kind of interested in a few of these guys. The big name is obviously Vincent Jackson. Had a pretty good year last year. He caught 78 balls for 1,224 yards and 7 touchdowns on the worst passing team in the league. So he clearly was getting the biggest chunk of the pie.
Towards the end of the year, I think Glennon was just chucking the ball up to him and see what happens. I mean, that's a strategy with him. He's getting double, triple teams, still coming down with the ball. So
he's still gonna get his looks, and just really depends on how they decide to utilize him in their offense.
And considering he's a number 1 guy who could probably get you up to 1,500 yards, especially with all the other pieces they're going to have to draw a little bit of attention away from him this season, as opposed to horrible last year. He's going in the late 3rd and early 4th rounds, and I think if he's your second wide receiver, I like that a lot in the 4th round.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys that I like a little bit more around there, but you're right, I agree. I would like him a little bit more in the 4th round just because I really am not sold on McCown yet. I know that he did well last year. I'm just not sold on him and what he brings to this offense. So
my whole thing is if Jackson can get that much production with Mike Glennon throwing him the ball.
Sure, but we don't know. We don't know what this is going to look like because, unfortunately, Lovie Smith is not an offensive coach, so we just don't know what we're going to see.
Yep.
That is true. Luckily, he is not running the offense. Like you said, they have a new offensive coordinator in there in Tampa Bay. What about Doug Martin? He's a big question mark. He was a top 5 fantasy running back last season, right? He was like 5 or 6 overall going into the season.
I saw him going as high as number 2.
That's absolute insanity. He was a guy him and Spiller last year I didn't like at all. I don't know why.
I didn't either, but this year I kind of like him. He's
third round
third
guy.
Round.
That's crazy.
And get him that late for sure, yeah.
And with Sims going out, he doesn't really have competition. He has Bobby Rainey and Mike James.
Who looks good, but
they're filler guys. Those guys are backups. So so far through the preseason, Martin's looked really good. He's had 25 touches and 100 yards overall in the preseason. So that's solid. I like that. And I know Lovie Smith likes running backs. So I think he's good, and I think in the third round is a really good place to take him.
An underrated thing I noticed last year is he only played 6 games, but he caught 12 balls. So in PPR, if he keeps on that pace, that's not the worst number in the world. He's not like Adrian Peterson catching 9 balls a year. So maybe if Lovie Smith tries to get him involved in the passing game a little bit more, maybe 35, 40 catches, something like that.
He absolutely could. Absolutely could.
Yeah, that would help out. That would definitely help out his fantasy stock. I think he's a pretty good sleeper in the 4th round there. Or third, fourth round. All right, coming after the break, we're talking about mock draft Monday, but it's Tuesday, so I guess we're kind of screwing up the name a little bit. Oh, well, we're talking mock drafts after the break. You're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League Show with Jonathan, Zach, and Nick. Only on The Team.
Again, you're wrong. We still have Jason Gringer here with Nick and Jonald. He's never going to get that right, is he?
Never
going to happen. I would like to apologize to you, Jason, but I really don't want to because he does what he wants.
Yeah.
We pay him good money.
Stuff your sorries in a sack.
It's a cage, not a sack. But whatever. We're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're not talking about sacks or cages or maybe we talk about pirate ships, right? They got a cool pirate ship in Tampa. That was the only thing they had going from the last couple seasons.
Yeah, firing those cannons off early sometimes.
Yeah, that does happen. Yeah, what if there's like a replay and it ends up screwing some things?
It's happened many times.
Yeah, that's bad. That's not good.
Touchdown, no.
Touchdown. Put the ball back in the cannon. Maybe we'll figure it out again.
I think the funny thing is when they shoot those off and the opposing players get scared. Like you see, like the camera cuts to them and they're just like crapping their pants.
I have a feeling that's a not top 10 moment on something we're not talking about. Didn't happen. All right, but I wanted to talk about the rest of the ADP average draft position fantasy-wise for these Tampa Bay Bucks. First guy I want to talk about is Mike Evans. He's going in the 10th round. I think this is a guy that has some interesting sleeper potential up against, obviously, Vincent Jackson. We mentioned he's a guy who is 6'5", can catch the deep ball, can run routes. He was a beast at Texas A&M last year.
Yeah. I like the upside, definitely, with Evans. Especially, he's going to draw some attention away from Jackson, which helps Jackson. I guess it's kind of like a wait-and-see approach, but I don't mind taking it. I took him in the 9th round in our mock draft, which maybe a little bit early. It was 97th pick overall, but I don't know.
I mean, you know what you're getting here. That Mike Evans was the reason that Johnny Manziel has any name right now. If you ever watched those games, Johnny Manziel would run around like a chicken with his head cut off, and Mike Evans would find a way to get open. Manziel would chuck one up, and Evans would be the tallest guy on the field with the best hands, and he would come down with the ball.
Yeah, it's like a Hail Mary on every play. It's like playing Madden and choosing the Hail Mary button and just doing that every play.
So basically, what you're going to see, his biggest upside is going to be around the goal line, inside the 10-yard line.
He had like 17 touchdowns last year.
He is going to be perfect around the goal line, so they're going to use him. They're going to fade the ball out to him a ton. You're taking him there with a lot of upside, I think. He's a rookie, and he has a high ceiling. But what you do not want to expect is 1,000 yards, 80 catches, and 15 touchdowns. That's just not reasonable. Yeah. So 10th round is good. I think that's a fine place to take him.
Yeah, he's the guy who's going to fill into your bye week wide receiver 2 spots and your maybe flex once in a while if he ends up doing well.
Yep.
Right? That seems about right for him?
Pretty much, yep.
Perfect. All right, the last guy I want to talk about is Austin Seferian-Jenkins. Josh McCown we don't really want to spend time on. He's a guy that maybe 2 QB leagues, you're happy as your second quarterback, but that's about it.
Exactly.
But Seferian-Jenkins, I think he's got some interesting tight end as an undrafted guy as a backup for potential purposes.
Sure. I personally, I'm not going to draft him if it's a legitimate draft, not like our mock spot draft.
Yeah, where you started at last week's spot draft if you weren't paying attention to the Star Fantasy League show. Yeah, that's Nick's starting tight end in that draft.
So, I mean, of course there's upside. But at the same time, unless you watched him in Washington last year, you really don't know what to expect.
And they still have Brandon Myers there, who's ahead of him on the depth chart.
Stop that.
He is ahead of him on the depth chart.
But last year he was so. We talked a lot about him last year on this show or whatever show we were doing at the time. We were all excited for him with Eli Manning. We thought he'd continue what he did in Oakland, but he just kind of disappeared. He didn't look that good.
Nope, he didn't.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in the preseason. I haven't seen if he's been getting a lot of catches or not, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, we don't usually monitor Tampa Bay Buccaneers preseason games. I will be completely honest with you. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I would leave him off right now. Watch him. Watch what they do, look for any news on him, and then maybe scoop him up off the waiver wire.
That's what I did with Tim Wright last year, and I feel like Safarian Jenkins is probably in the same exact boat on the same team.
Certainly is.
Sounds about right. All right, it's Tuesday, but we're still talking Mock Draft Monday on the Star Fantasy League show. Sign up on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Today we have season-long platforms running. There are games drafting every single day. We usually got a couple games going off a day, ranging from $10 minimum all the way up to, I think we got $400 leagues. That's a big number. We also got daily leagues. Sign up with the user, what is it, bonus code FREE14,
Free
I believe?
14. Free 14.
FREE14 gives you 100% to $2,000 bonus code. I don't think we can give you any more money. Oh, wait, there's an $11 free credit as well.
How about that?
I can't help it. I just keep giving away free money. I should probably ask Zach if I can do that, right?
Nah, just keep doing it.
Just do it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm authorized to do it. You get 100% to $2,011, free 14. Do it today. And we also have mock drafts, which is what we're doing on StarFantasyLeagues.com. We're doing some mocks.
Let's do it.
All right, so we started off yesterday. Jason took what I said to heart on the show from the week before. He decided to pick all running backs in the first 3 rounds.
I did that.
Yeah, and how do you feel about that strategy heading into the 4th round with 3 running backs?
I like it, considering I got Cruz at the end of the 4th round, the 48th pick. I like that.
Did I just say how do you feel in the first 3 rounds and he immediately takes the 4th pick?
Well, it panned out for me, I think.
Did it? Do you think it panned out? Because Victor Cruz isn't my highest guy for your number 1 wide receiver. I don't like Victor Cruz.
I love Victor Cruz. I absolutely love Victor Cruz.
You think he's in line for a big year?
I think he is in line for an enormous year because Ben McAdoo, coming from my Green Bay Packers, is going to show Eli Manning how to play quarterback like a real quarterback in the NFL.
Is he going to remind him? Because we know that Eli Manning in the past has been a real quarterback and a pretty good one, but he forgot how to play football last year.
Yeah, no. I think Victor Cruz is a perfect guy to take. If you have him at the end of the 4th round, you should be licking your chops.
Yeah, I was. He went after Percy Harvin, Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, Percy Harvin at the beginning of the 4th round made me sad.
And Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
I don't think Keenan Allen belongs in the 4th round at all. I think he belongs more in the 6th round.
Roddy White was before Cruz, so
yep.
I'll take it.
The only upside guy that I know Nick likes that went after Victor Cruz in the 5th round is Torrey. You think Torrey's rising?
I thought he went. Well, I mean, he went early. I guess I would have drafted him there, but yeah. So I really think that Victor Cruz in the 4th round is a steal.
Yeah. I guess that's right if he is all the way in the 4th. I mean, if you're taking him in the 3rd, you're probably an insane person because I see Pierre Garçon going in the 3rd.
You are the crazy man.
Yes, exactly. You are a crazy man. All right, Nick, what about you? You went wide receiver, running back, which seems to be your MO. I've noticed at a couple mocks you've been doing that.
I do like the wide receivers in the 1st round.
Especially late. Sorry, we have to keep talking about it. You are drafting at number 10 out of 12 in a PPR league. So that makes a lot of sense because you are missing out on almost every one of the running backs you like.
I get nervous about the running backs when we get into the 4th and 5th rounds, but I was lucky enough to grab Andre Ellington in the 3rd, and then Rashad Jennings in the 4th. I love Rashad Jennings. I know the one thing I'm worried about is the goal line touches because Andre Williams is supposedly ahead of him on the goal line back depth chart. But I think Rashad Jennings is going to have a role in both the running and the passing game.
He caught a lot of balls last year from 15, 20 yards out and ran them in. So, I mean, he's a guy that can get touchdowns for you.
I think he will be fine, and I think that the duo of Ellington and Jennings, pretty solid for my top 2 running backs.
Yeah, for you did get Ellington in the 3rd, and then in the 4th you had your pick of running backs, actual starters, because usually in the 4th you don't have that many options. You had to pick between Rashad Jennings, Ryan Matthews, Frank Gore, and C.J. Spiller there.
You can even look down to Shane Vereen.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, with the news on Ridley, maybe Shane Vereen gains a lot of.
Well, I
thought
thought Shane Vereen was great in the 4th round as it is. So the fact that he fell to the 5th round is kind of crazy. I like Jennings a little bit more than Vereen. I think that he will play more of a role in the actual handoff game. Vereen is a joker of sorts, but he plays more in the PPR receptions league. But it's still in the 4th round with him is great. I just like Jennings more. Not big on Ryan Matthews because of his committee. Yeah. Frank Gore, I do like, but not in the 4th round. CJ Spiller, God, I don't know what to do with him anymore. I don't even think Doug Marrone knows what he's doing with him, and that's kind of a problem.
That sounds about, C.J. Spiller I'm not touching with a 10-foot pole, and I didn't because in the 4th round, I originally went running back, wide receiver, which is kind of the thing I do if I have an early pick. I had the 6th overall pick, ended up with Eddie Lacy. 19th, I got Le'Veon Bell. We'll see what happens with him. I'm scared of that in a real draft, but we'll see for mock purposes. In the 4th round, Frank Gore fell to me. I figured I'm probably going to end up using him as a fill-in for Le'Veon Bell at that RB2 position. And if Le'Veon Bell comes back fine, he'll be my flex guy.
There will be plenty of weeks where you can put Frank Gore in as your flex
or
as your second running back because they run the ball, and they run the ball well in San Francisco.
Yeah, I'm convinced that he is not going away. Last year he was perfectly fine, played a lot, got a lot of production, especially I think in the 4th round I'm okay with him going there.
Yeah, I don't know. The Niners are scaring me this preseason. Alec Boone still hasn't signed. He's holding out, and that's a huge part of their offensive line. And they haven't looked good this preseason. So
Which means they'll be fine because it's the preseason.
Exactly what it means.
They're still scaring me a little bit. I don't know. Carlos Hyde is really good.
Colin Kaepernick is quarterback.
There we go. We had to get one Colin Kaepernick installed as long as Jason's on the show. That usually happens.
Keep them coming.
All right, so we're talking about quarterbacks. In the 5th round, Andrew the Giant went first. Jason, are you okay with taking a quarterback that early in the 5th round?
Yeah, I think because there was going to be – I was feeling like a large run on quarterbacks. Stafford went in the 4th, and I like Luck more than Smith and the other options there. I like him over Foles.
You mean Alex Smith, right?
No.
Okay, I was just hoping you weren't going, I meant to take Alex Smith at quarterback in the 4th round. Yeah. No, Torrey. I mean, we've talked a lot about it. We actually, Nick and I like Torrey Smith popping
I meant
up.
Griffin. I meant RG3.
Okay.
My bad, not Smith.
Well, no, Torrey Smith's going after. But, RG3, man, I cannot deal with him.
No, not RG3. No.
There's no chance I'm ever looking his way in a draft.
I got to be honest, I was a little surprised that you went with Andrew Luck here. I do like some of the wide receiver position or guys that were still available there. And with your run of running backs there, I was wondering why you decided to go with a quarterback when you know there's more number one quarterbacks, obviously, later in the draft.
Late, yeah.
Well, I saw there was still a ton of wide receivers left. And I saw that there was some quarterbacks starting to go. There was going to be some going around. So I figured I'd get my guy in Luck, and I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, but then you went with Sankey in the next round.
Yeah, you got another running back. 8 running backs for Jason.
That's because I had back-to-back picks there, so I could have gone wide receiver first. I took Sankey.
That's what they
Then I went
say.
Sanders at wide receivers.
Yeah, but let's talk about the 5th round because my bonehead pick of the whole night was I meant to pick Nick Foles, but somehow I timed down and picked Cam Newton, who clearly for no reason would be on my team.
Well, either way.
I know it's too early. I understand.
Well, no, but either way, I'm really curious as to why you did that too because, we talk about this all the time. You have a ton of quarterbacks that are going to be available in the 7th, 8th, 9th round.
All right, so I have 3 running backs and 1 wide receiver. Which receiver would you pick, or would you go tight end there and grab somebody like Jordan Cameron in the 5th? I think that's too early for Jordan Cameron.
I love Michael Floyd. I think Michael Floyd is primed for a big year.
Yeah, he was the one I was looking at if I was going wide receiver. I'll be honest there.
Julian Edelman, I think, is being undervalued. He's going to be a number 1 wide receiver target in that offense.
Yeah, I screwed up. I should have gone Jordan Cameron in the 5th or Michael Floyd and then tried to get either tight end or wide receiver in the 6th.
Well, I was happy you didn't go Jordan Cameron.
Yes, I know, because you ended up getting him in the 6th. You got Joik Bell in the 5th. I think that's one of the better pickups of the entire draft.
Well,
I like him a lot. He's going to be a flex guy almost the entire year for you.
Zach and I have talked about this on a lot and on the
At
show
length,
a lot.
Yes.
And Joik Bell, I think, is a good pick in the 5th round.
Especially in PPR.
I still think Reggie Bush is going to outdo him in a 50-50 heads-up matchup. But either way, both of those guys are going to get tons of looks. The Saints coordinator's coming in. It's going to be a good situation overall.
Yep, but in the 6th round, you took Jordan Cameron away from me. I went with Jason Witten, and like we said, Jason decided to take Bishop Sankey around the bend there. But we're not even halfway done with our mock draft. Coming up on tomorrow's show, we will break down round 7 through 9 of our mock. And coming after the break, we're talking more mock drafting strategies. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
Did you guys know that StarFantasyLeagues.com has a season-long fantasy platform?
Heck yeah.
Well, of course you know that. You work here.
I do work here.
This is true. If you weren't listening to the show the past couple weeks, we did unveil a season-long platform on StarFantasyLeagues.com a few weeks ago. It's been off the chain. It's been amazing. All the other things that I shouldn't be saying because I can't pull them off.
No, it really has been great. I mean, the guys did such a great job on it. It's been a great experience so far, and we've gotten a lot of positive feedback. If you haven't gotten into it yet, get into it. This is the big week. This is the week.
Yeah, if you're worried that a couple drafts look like they're not filling, guess what? As the weeks go on, as the week goes on, I guess we got 1 week left, you're going to see a lot of drafts fill. Create some leagues, put them in the lobby. All you have to do is just click a button, and you're in. It's
now
really
is the
easy.
time.
Yep.
That is
Don't
true.
have to worry about getting money from your friends.
That's the biggest part. You
Paid out right at when the season ends.
Yeah, you deposit right away. You put it in the account, and it's held there for the entire season.
Did I tell you about the horror story from last year?
Oh, yeah.
no.
I heard something about Target.
About the Target scandal.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody used the Target scandal to explain why they couldn't pay anybody out.
Pay your debts, but guess what? If you play on StarFantasyLeagues.com, you don't have to pay any debts because you put it in right away. You play the whole season, and then when you hear that beautiful congratulations just happen, everyone thanks you for playing and winning, you get the money right away into your account.
Nobody's taking it from us, baby.
That is perfectly true, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a bonus. Just a
yeah.
little bit. Free 14, FREE14 when you sign up, 100% bonus to $2,000 and an $11 credit because we love our Star Fantasy Leagues players.
Yes, we
love
do.
them. Join some mock drafts with us. We've been talking about mock drafts all week. We're going to continue to talk about them, but free 14, that's the way to get the bonus that you deserve on StarFantasyLeagues.com. We also got daily games, lots of them.
Thank you so much, John. I appreciate your generosity.
You are welcome.
We've got $5,000 guaranteed.
Yeah, that's one contest, though. We have a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Got $500 free roll, too.
That's right.
Yeah, just
lots of money we're giving out.
And we also have free season-long contests if you want to try the system out. Because I know as soon as you enter a free season-long contest, you're going to go, oh, my friends would like this. Sign them up, play a cash money league.
Bingo, and then you get referrals and bonuses and more referrals and more bonuses.
Yeah, this is a peek. This is a peek behind the curtain of how to do it right for fantasy.
Do it right. Star Fantasy League.
All right, let's go on real quickly to talk about how we did it wrong. And Jason, hi.
You?
How
Talking
many?
about yourself?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Cam Newton. We did this mock draft. I'm not going to lie, on a different site because we wanted to try some different things and see how different sites reacted. But it just disconnected me and timed me down, and somehow I got Cam Newton.
Yeah, well, that happens, but you must have had him first in your queue.
No, he was first on the top of the draft chart at the time.
So he was first in your lineup that was going to be auto-drafted.
That's why you got to use your player queue.
Yep.
Right?
Gotta be smart.
Yeah, Nick, can you talk about this real quick? Because I usually don't start using my queue until like the 4th or 5th round because I think about guys I want later in the draft.
You want me to talk about my master strategy, John? Is that what
No,
you're talking about?
I just want to talk about how you actually, because on StarFantasyLeagues.com, all you do is double-click a player. They go directly into your queue. You can move them up and down, but the site we use, you have to drag.
No, yeah. I love the way that we did that. I love that you can just quickly double-click, add them, boom, there you go. I use it right in the first round. Use it right as soon as you start.
Just
line
so
them
you
up.
know the guys you want.
Exactly. You line them up, put them in order. You don't have to put 50 in order. Put the next 10, 12 in order. And then that way when you get to your spot, when it comes to your pick, you have a minute and a half to go, you're like, okay, I have these 5 guys I can choose from, and you're good.
Yeah,
you're all set.
You're ready to pick right when the clock gets to you. You don't have to wait around.
Exactly.
You're waiting around for all these
Like
guys
searching
to pick.
through. You have all that time to search through all of those players. Don't waste it. Be smart.
Hey. Sometimes it's an hour between picks if you're in a 20-man league. I want to go walk the dog, make myself some dinner,
Dumb.
go for, I don't know.
Not smart. That's not how winners win.
Wow.
That's how losers
You want to be a winner?
If you want to be a winner, play at StarFantasyLeagues.com and use the bonus code FREE14, FREE14, 100% 2,000 bonus, $11 free cash credit. And I have absolutely nothing to say at the end of this show because it's almost football time, guys. Do not forget StarFantasyLeagues.com. Join a mock draft today. Play in a real league. It's football time. Take it easy, guys.